Hey guys, we've been reading this book for a little while now, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I've been given a couple questions in the first 3 chapters that I'm going to go ahead and answer. And just to start off, this book's a little bit tough to read. You really have to actually listen to yourself and actually really read it with an open mind. And that being said, the first question I got asked was, when looking back on your life, do you think that you have been proactive? For the most part, I think that I have been proactive in my life, doing certain things that would better my life and put me where I need to be. I saw areas of improvement that I needed to change, and I eventually joined the military, which actually gave me the ability to get the GI Bill, which is actually giving me the ability to go to school right now. So if anything, looking back on my younger years, and as crazy as I have been, being proactive is one of those things where you have to set yourself up for future success. So I really do think that I have been proactive in some parts of my life, but for the majority of the life, I really think I've been reactive. At the end of the day, living in the world we live in, you can't really prepare for anything. You never really know what's going to come around the corner, or who you're going to see, or what you're going to run into, or what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, that's something that you can't really affect, but you can let it. You can affect how it affects you. And I feel like, more than being proactive or reactive, you just have to be mentally conscious about how things that are coming along in time are going to come whether you like it or not. And you can either react or do what you want to do and kind of handle it down the road and see how it comes, or you can just try and be proactive with concerns. Question number 2 comes out of habit number 2, which is actually beginning with the end in mind. So the question is, before you learned about the 7 habits, have you ever used a personal mission statement? Yes, I really think that in everyday life we use personal mission statements. You wake up in the morning and your mission statement could be, today I'm just going to get through it. And the next day is, it's going to be an amazing day, and you have to live these personal mission statements day by day. I really think overall you should have a capstone where it says I want to be a successful this, or I need to be a better friend, better boyfriend, better girlfriend, better husband, better wife, better child. I really think that at the end of the day, your mission statements should really differ just about every day, because every day you wake up, you do have a new mission. Whether most people see it or not, you are constantly working towards an end goal, but realistically, every day you have to have a new mission, because you're just here to live, but you have to live your life, and your missions are going to change every day. And do I think it will help boost my professional and personal life? Yes, 100%. The only thing that could hurt any of that is not doing that. Sitting around and being biased and not really affecting people in the way that you need to. I really wish that more people would get angry and more people would have mission statements. More people would yell and scream and get pissed off about things. And the sad part is a lot of people don't. But I really think that if people set out a goal every day and made their personal and professional lives better, just simply having a mission statement to be a better person, I really think that both professionally and personally, I really think everyone can grow. Mission statements are kind of, pointing you in a direction, but that direction is never going to be the direction you thought it was. that direction is going to change, and there's going to be forks, and there's going to be adversities and things you have to come across that you wouldn't have ever known you were going to be prepared for in that mission statement. And you might find new missions along the way that you can, affect and help. And there's so many people in the world that if they would just if each person would just help one person in the whole world, we would all be okay. Unfortunately, everyone's out there just missioning, statementing for themselves and, filling their pockets and having a great time. But if we all just held out one hand, and helped one person, at the end of the day, I think it would probably make a pretty big difference. So I really think people in general need personal mission statements, and those mission statements do need to change every day, because both professionally and personally, every day you have a new mission, and you don't know what you're going to come across, but you can have an open mind about it and know that there is an end goal in mind. Alright, so my third question comes out of habit 3, putting first things first. My question is, which quadrant do you believe you use the most and why? I definitely am a combination of a 1 and 3 quadrant. Definitely crises, pressing problems, and deadline-driven projects are definitely how I situate my time frame. But, at the same time, I do the whole, I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and try and get it all kind of done at the same time. But at the end of the day, it's all on, crisis. So everything has to be turned in and everything has to be done. So, at the end of the day, I guess, yeah, I'm probably a 1 and 3. And you know what? At the end of the day, I've done it this way for so long. The second part of this question is, does this prompt you to make a change in your life personally and professionally? And, this is kind of the way that, it's worked for me. I've, done it this way. I'd love to be able to think the other way, but at the end of the day, I do work well under pressure, and I do know that, and it works well to it is advantageous to me to know what a key trait of mine is. So I think, I do rely on that a lot, and, that's kind of, how I get through things. But, at the end of the day, I've got a little chip on my shoulder, have a nice day, and it's not really too many problems with it. But, yeah, I don't know. I've seen people work the other way, and I have friends who work the other way, and it makes sense for them, and I drive them crazy, but at the end of the day, they drive me crazy. So, I feel like we all just gotta get along. Have a good day.
I think the importance of thinking win-win is to ensure that both sides are getting something out of it. I know that usually I tend to think lose-win. I try to satisfy the needs of someone else rather than my own. So the importance of it is making sure that both sides are happy. But the use of win-win or no deal, I feel like that can probably hurt a relationship with my peers, because sometimes you're working so hard to find a common ground, but when someone says, okay, we're not going to go through with this, I feel like it can hurt the relationship with the other person. But sometimes it can work out, because one person would be like, oh, okay, well, I'll come back and work with them because they were willing to work with me. Ultimately, when I'm having a conversation with someone, I can honestly say that I use selective listening. Sometimes I try to listen to the entire thing, but I would look for keywords and always comment on certain things. Or, for example, when I talk to my dad, I'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, Dad. But this can hurt some of the relationships that I have with people, because some of them would ask me like, oh, did you catch what I said? Instead of me just saying, oh, yeah, okay, I heard that. ultimately, I should utilize empathetic listening because it lets me fully understand what the person is saying, and it gives off this psychological air so that they feel like I'm understanding what they're saying as well. The part of my life that I feel like needs more work with synergy is probably when working in groups for school projects or work related things. Um, Sometimes I tend to take over because I feel like it's easier if I do something myself versus asking someone to do something. Um, but I've found along the way that it's easier if I find out what someone else is good at, and it makes it easier to split up the work that way because once we both split up and do what we're better capable at doing, we can accomplish a bigger and better solution. The best way to do this would probably be from finding out what each other is better at doing, as well as asking each other for what our opinions are. By doing that, we're allowed to get new ideas out in the open, as well as finding a better solution, which will end up in a better result.